okay, to cool down. Nowadays, even the fan is not enough to cool down our system. We use uh, liquid cooling method for cooling down the system, and GPUs even they do have cooling fan to cool down. You know, GPUs, as we said, they produce a lot of heat since they are pretty powerful. So let me review this part together, and if there is a point that you are not familiar with, please stop me. Over here we are introducing the memory resources of the CPU, mainly RAMs, ROMs, cache memories, and all this stuff. We start with ROM, read-only memory. We all know, we all studied that read-only memory is the memory that we can read only from, usually shipped by the manufacturer, and mainly we have the one that we use daily is the BIOS. BIOS is a software installed on the ROM that are responsible for booting our system by initiating the power or self-test. We are going to study BIOS in details later on. We have different kind of ROMs. Some ROMs they can be they are permanent. You cannot erase their information. Some other type of ROMs you can erase their information by applying some electrical pulse to them. We have RAMs. Sometimes they get a bit tricky. So we have the SRAM, for example. The SRAM is the one that we use our cache memory from. Cache memory, I'm gonna explain about the cache memory shortly, but always remember cache memory is expensive, pretty fast, good for our computer resources, and as we said, it comes only in a small size since it's expensive and occupies more size. Memory models now, that was the RAM types, and for you if you find yourself overwhelmed with all of these, always revise the DDR2 SDRAM, SRAM, DRAM, and SDRAM. Okay, they are commonly used. Now we have the memory model. They are the shape, the memory they look like. Let's go back to Google and try to Google the SIM versus DIMM. Okay, let's see which one is the best one. Yeah, this one is excellent. Okay, so if you see the top one over here, if you see the top one over here, this one is called SIM, single inline memory model. Single inline memory model, if you see, has the less number of pins to connect, and usually it comes only from one side. This is why it's called single inline memory model, which means if you flip it, you don't find any cells. The SIM, usually it must be installed as an odd number. You cannot install only one. You cannot close the circuit by installing only one RAM memory. You have to install 2, 4, 6, 8 if you have 8 slots, of course. Now the DIMM, which is dual inline memory model, it has this one has 72 pin. This one comes with different, like 128, 169. Okay, so it has a bigger number of connectors, which we call them the bus, and it's okay to install only one. It closes the circuit and it works just fine. Down one over here, it's called SODEM. The SODEM is the one that used for laptops, okay, and used for printers. Fine. Now the RAM, it's just like the SIM. The only difference that when they introduced Pentium 4, they introduced new memory with it, which was the RAM. RAM mainly was manufactured by Samsung. The only difference, RAM, it was pretty expensive. It was good memory, but used to produce a lot of heat. You see over here, and used to have it used to have a protector over here, or not protector, a cooler. Uh, okay, it used to have a cooler. I remember the time when they introduced Pentium 4. I had two of them, of course, because it's like SIM, and one of them got damaged. Uh, I couldn't find the resources, and when I found, uh, they were pretty expensive. So later on, they got outdated. Okay, and they are not produced anymore, as far as I know. Coming over here, each memory type, it has something called the bus and something called the speed and the peak transfer rate. Of course, each of them works with different speed. Each of them, you see, for example, the DDR2 that is widely used, it works up to 667 megahertz as the bus speed, and over here 5333 megabytes per second. Now the new one, see, it almost more than doubled the speed over here by doubling the bus
12 gigabyte,
yeah, which is great. Now this is the cache memory. As we said, it's a type of SRAM, is expensive and comes with low it occupies big space, and usually we have it integrated on the CPU and sometimes on the motherboard as well. Each CPU has a cache memory. As we said, CPU will have his own wallet, will not wait to send information back to the RAM. Okay, so the CPU is going to have his own wallet, his own place where he can keep his own registers on it, will have fast access. It's very important at this level to understand that if we have over here, let's say we have a RAM, CPU always interacts with the RAM, with the memory, sends information, gets them back those information, refresh those information. RAM to him is very far, and it's a bit slow, the RAM. So the CPU is going to have his own wallet, his own place where he places his registers on them, and that place is going to be called cache. We have levels of cache, the L1, L2, and L3. Some CPUs you can have with even L4 cache. Okay, so the cache is measured in kilobytes and sometimes in megabytes. It's that small, but it has a huge impact on the computer performance. Questions so far?
No, that's fine.
Okay. Now information, they are sent in a shape of 8 bits. We all know this. They are represented in a shape of 8 bits. Streams of 8 bits represent a bigger number of information. Now memory from the error side, they have different kinds. You remember in the past when we used Windows 98, whenever you had some error, it was showing you a blue screen and will tell you that the system has encountered an error with the RAM or something, and needs to shut down. That's because we had something called non-parity RAM, and the operating system was incapable of having something called general fault protection. Now over there we didn't have any error connection. You know, whenever we read information, error must happen. It must happen. Okay, so the new RAMs, some new RAMs, they were dedicating 1 bit out of that, in addition to that 8 bits, to have it for the error checking. It just checks the errors. Now we have error correction called memory that can detect the multiple bit error in a memory and can correct single bit error in a memory. Okay, so it can detect and it can correct some of them. Okay?
Okay.
These are the adapters, adapter card, and we are familiar with them. Just to refresh your memory, this one called PCI. Okay.
PCI slot, yeah.
The AGB is the one that we, again, all these things we are going to repeat in the lab when we install the computer. PCIe, okay, this is the express guy. ISA, oh, the old one that was outdated.
That's a very,
It's outdated. We don't find it even on motherboards anymore.
yeah.
Okay, even this guy, grandfather.
This is very old.
Yeah, pretty old, and we don't have
What
them.
normally all we have nowadays is PCI, AGP, and PCIe.
True, that's true. Okay, and here is an example of all the external components that you can get installed on each of them. Okay, storage drives, uh, uh, hard drives, floppy drives, they are an optical drive, they are storage drives. Now backing up our information, like the software method, where you have a software, and that software will be responsible for you know, like the Norton Ghost for mirroring and doing a software backup, but it's not reliable for ISPs and storage companies. We have something called RAID. RAID stands for redundancy array. Let me just get it right. RAID. It's not mentioned over here. It's a way. It's a redundancy. It's a way for redundancy for creating. It's a hardware and software, but mainly it's a hardware method for creating a backup for your hard drive. And there are different levels of RAID that you purchase based on your, based on your requirements and based on your company activities. For example, we have RAID level 0. It requires minimum of drives to one drive where you have your information written to, and one drive where you have your information written from. Okay, this one does data stripping without any redundancy. It has high performance because it does this in a short time, but it has no guarantee for data protection. The other method is disk mirroring. As it sounds, you know, the disk mirroring. Okay, it mirrors your information and places them on the other one. Now once we reach the professional one, independent data disks with double parity, okay, they have something called the block level stripping, okay, and they are interconnected together, and they have something called the parity bit. Like through the parity bit they can recover the lost or damaged bit. Okay, so it's a method. There are different methods. I don't know that if I'm allowed to explain more than this over here, but really the RAID, it's easy to understand, but requires some reading over there. So this is, I guess, what I need to mention over here for you. It has a special controller that you connect the hard drives to them. These are the internal PC cables. We have this one is called parallel or BATA. It's called IDE. This is IDE from BATA. We'll introduce it later on in the lab. And this one is the SATA cable. Unfortunately, we don't have the SATA. Okay? And although it's widely used, we have them in the new PCs we're purchasing for this lab. For example, this is a worksheet researching the computer components. And let's spend few minutes in doing this worksheet. You'll have the printed one over here. And let's talk about the cost of the components of the computer. So far, what did we discuss as a component of a computer? We discussed the case together with the power supply. We discussed the motherboard. What else? We discussed the RAMs, the hard drives,
memory,
optical drives, right? Okay.
Yeah, we discussed. We quickly looked at all the video cards and graphic cards and sound
Sure.
cards.
Okay. Marlon, do you have anything to add to them? I guess yeah. I guess that this is all. Okay. Now let's. If you have a paper and pen, please note down the following: the components and their approximated cost. Like, look, guys. For the past year, I haven't assembled any PC, so I'm not aware of the latest update from the market. But I can give you roughly the cost of each of the components. We start with the case together with the power supply that it comes with the case. That would be around 80 dirhams. Going to the RAMs, if we say 2 GB RAM, that will be around 100 dirhams or less.
RAM is at the moment 2 GB is about 100 to 110.
Well, 210, that's very expensive. I'm giving you the price
No,
of.
no,
Uh,
100.
ah,
2 GB RAM is
ah,
100 to
two.
110.
Okay, okay. Ah, you mean between this range? Yeah, that's fine. That's true. Okay, and even I believe that it's a bit cheaper. It's became 80, because I'm talking about the computer shops that they sell a wholesale where you can assemble at the cheapest rate from
Sure.
Bar Dubai. Uh, that's for the computers. That's for the RAMs. Motherboard could start from 250 dirhams or 200 dirhams, and they can go up based on the quality and the features of each of the motherboards. Um, um, graphics card they can start from 220 dirhams, less or more, and they can go up to thousands of dirhams. Okay, CPU is the same. They are around 200 to 150 based on your choice of CPU, and they can go up, but the average is 350. Okay, that's the average, and they can go up. Um, um, what else? The optical drives, like it's like less than 100 dirhams. The hard drives they can start from 200 dirhams. They can go up or less. Okay, so this is the average range of their price. Uh, Monitors, as an average, is 300 dirhams for the LCD one. Um, what
Yeah.
else? What are we missing over here?
DVD drive.
Yeah, this is the same. It is the same. The DVD drive. Uh, yeah, I guess these are mainly most of the components that they come with the cards as well. They don't. Most of them they come with built-in network card and even built-in graphics card. The more the built-in, the lower the quality of the motherboard. So we don't recommend to go for the built-in one. A big amount of built-in. Okay. Um, these are the different connectors. This one is RJ11, the one that connects, connects your telephone line. Okay.
Telephone, yeah.
Yeah, this one is the telephone line. This one is the USB. This one is a firewire that is going to replace USB. For example, it's you are asked to read the features of USB. For example, USB can connect up to 127 devices on one chain, and it's capable of sending information up to the new USB model that is 400 something megabits per second. Uh, with Firewire, it's the new technology, and it's capable of transmitting information at the higher rate. This is the old one with the parallel, the SCSI, the network connector, which are the RJ45 network. Always remember the network connector, they are RJ45. Here is the BS2 ports. Here is the different ports for the video and the graphics. You know, different methods for connecting, and we have different connectors. We have the 80-bit connector, 50-bit bin connector, and 68-bin connectors. Okay, these are the SCSI cable connector. Let's see if we can finish yeah, let's finish this one and let's have a short break. This device, it can connect your many projectors, yeah, right, VGA, to many projectors and screens and monitors, which is called KVM switch. Okay, so I don't think like there is anything more serious about that. So let's